Hello, welcome back. This is going to be a little update on my very first fragging, and yes, it's not going to be anything too complicated. I'm going to be fragging, if you can call it fragging. I'm going to be splitting a new toadstool that I've got, and because my other toadstool has been so shrunk lately and it's done a little bit of a shed, I think I might just give it a little chop. If I'm going to upset it even more than it already is right now, I may as well do both at the same time. They're two slightly different variations of like a fluffy toadstool. So one has got the really bright green little polyps on it with like a purple background, and the one that was in here had more of a yellow tint in its polyps when it was out. So it's currently having a major sulk. It's been going on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's now Saturday, 4 days. So it was making me get a bit nervous because all my other corals are doing quite nicely, as you can see. Just the the leather, which is meant to be the tougher of the whole lot, was the one that's had the most hardest time. I think it's just been in a brand new tank, and it's obviously just not, its polyps were out for about 4 or 5 days, and then they sort of stopped. So they shrunk, and they're, it's going through that slimy, shiny coat on the outside of its external layer. So I have tried to pipette it off with a turkey baster. I've upped the flow in here so it's just coming out a bit more. And I did put on a hang-on back filter that's just got a little tiny bit of carbon in here. So the carbon is under this sponge so that it can't float out into the tank. It's actually been quite nice. I've got it at a low setting. I just wanted to make sure if there is any slime coating coming off the toadstool, that it is actually going to get sucked up and taken through a bit of carbon rather than all going through my canister filter. So this is just an update for the week why I've got the leathers, or the leathers going in. I just know that they may leach out some slime, and hopefully if there's any toxins in here from the other corals going through a hard time, this will just get rid of it for the meantime. So canister filter, and I have been working a little bit through the week. I've set up my bench space, so it goes, all the tubing are going through the back of my workspace here. Just did some testing. This is my test kit that I'm using quite frequently. I have gone and got some phytoplankton to feed my copepod population, just to keep them a bit happier. Just letting things air dry. So this is my little, this has been handy. It's only been in for a couple of days. Actually, I think I did it yesterday. Days blend into each other. Just put a couple of my indoor plants in. So this is a, this has got inside of here, it has got my canister filter, and if you can hear in here, it's super silent. There's nothing to come out from this. Just got a few buckets for when I just want to top up some water, a few cleaning things, my gloves, a little scrubber for getting some of the algae off some of the rocks, and obviously some of my products that I use regularly. There's my KH and my bit of calcium, my coral essentials, my MD, beneficial bacteria. So the canister tank, and on the other side is my, I'm not sure what light we've got going in here. This is a pump that I use to go into my 60-litre drum of seawater. It just helps me get the seawater out of the drum, which I can show you again. This then, I just put this tube straight into the tank, especially when I'm doing a water change. I might do like a 30 litre, 20, 30, 40 litre water change, and this just makes it so much easier to pump directly out of the seawater drum directly into the tank. Just got some fish food here. Backup little tank with all sorts of bits and bobs in it that I've popped aside as I've not needed things. Refractometer, which is great, and just some of all the power and electricals. Just some ammonia guard there. This is my Hannah checker down here. This is what I used to cover my wave maker. It's like a plastic meshing, but it did say it was for trees, to cover the base of the trees, to stop pests and things chewing on your trees. So yeah, so literally just some power leads and a duct, everything connected down here. Wave maker over there. So it's pretty simple. It's nice and clean and quiet. So this is just my additional workspace area here, and behind here is just some power. There's another power point just down here as well. Just down there is a power point, so you can see it's quite close to the tank. It is not that obvious in the room, so it's sort of hidden. You can see it's hidden behind the tank. And then if I was to go around the room a little bit, that is all you're going to really see. So the rest of the room, I shouldn't really show you the rest of the room. I've just got my little benches here, all my indoor plants, my baby marine quarantine tank for when I put new fish in, which I've used once for the clownfish, the ocellaris, my basil plant, my daughter's goldfish tank. It's the only thing that has a piece of plastic in it, but I had to let her have her way with her special castle. Her goldfish that we've kept alive for quite some time now. And my babies, my angels. These are my captive bred, my own angels that these are a year old now. So they're needing to move on. I've only been sending them to the aquarium once they've reached this really good size. So you can see against my hand, they're quite a really good size. So they're all in here. I think there's about 12 left out of 70. So yeah, they've been going bit by bit. And there's some bristlenose in here as well, bristlenose plecos and some corydoras. And then my other goldfish, my favorite little fat potatoes. So this is one of my favorite rooms. I shouldn't say favorite rooms in my house, but it is. Just don't tell my children that I said that. So this is my, I suppose you could call it a fish room. Look how beautiful the light is coming through. Just stunning through this window. So all my tanks, I've got spathiphyllum and pothos and spider plants growing out of filters, growing out the top. My little potatoes, they're always hungry. So they're my tricolour oranda, and yeah, they're not as fluffy in the face because I don't feed them up on all those special oranda diet foods, but they get to eat what the tropical fish eat. They get some baby brine shrimp and, sorry, not baby brine, just regular brine shrimp. They get some algae wafers randomly, but they pig out on those. There's a bristlenose in here who is trying to keep this tank clean. So yeah, this is the area that I'm working in, and I am about to do my fragging of this leather, which was stunning in the aquarium. I'd hate to admit it, but I have spotted some bubble algae in the center of it, which was pretty much impossible to see when purchasing, and obviously until they all shrink down you can't see it. So I've just put some iodine on my very sharp, new-ish, as new as I can scissors. Oops, some reef dip iodine in here. So after I cut them, I'm going to put them into the iodine mix. I'm going to wear my gloves just to help be a bit on the safe side. So I'll get into that in one moment. Thanks. Alright, so this is my very first fragging experience, but I suppose cutting through something with a pair of scissors can't really be called fragging, but I am going to split this toadstool in half because it's quite a bulky toadstool, and I want to get into the center where I did spot that green bubble algae. So here's to my first experience, and I feel so bad for being so cruel to this new addition, but I think it's better to start now than wait. So it's looking extremely sad at the moment. I think because there's what looks like two separate heads almost, that would be the ideal time to be starting. So we'll just maybe zoom in a little and hopefully down a little so you can see. I'm not sure how this light is picking up. So the scissors have been carefully cleaned. Well, I feel like I'm cutting up. Oh, I feel so bad. It's a bit crunchy. Sorry. It's a mean way of beginning your first day in a new home. I swear I saw the algae, the bubble algae in here. It looked quite bright earlier. So I'm just going to get rid of it just in case. Maybe it was this piece. Oh, it's this piece here. I think, I'm not sure if you can see it here, but there is this little section here that does, that might be a feather duster worm. Sorry, feather duster. Just going to get any of this crusty stuff off. There's this tiny little baby one. I'm not sure if I should separate that. Poor thing. Alright, so this is looking like a shiitake mushroom. That's where they get that name from, I suppose, the toadstool name. So this is the first piece. I'm just going to put my back. This is going to probably help it after it's been severely sabotaged. This is the other piece, which is quite a good size. It's the size of my palm, and when it was out it was quite large. So I'm just going to check it. I'm not sure what this bit is here. That feels sort of more like a little piece of, it's quite hard, so I'm not going to poke around too much. I think that is going to do it. I feel like that's just part of, right, into the dip as well. Okay, so I'm just going to give them, this has got the water out of the tank in it. Just hopefully where I've just cut might help settle any of those wounds that I've just created on my poor brand new. I'm just going to dip the scissors in as they're covered. Might just leave them in there for a minute. I'm going to rinse this plate off and I will go get the other leather. Okay, this is patient number 2. This is another toadstool that I have purchased that has been heavily shrunk down for the past 3 going on to 4th day. It did have its shed, a slight shed, and it's still a little bit shiny in the tank. I'm just going to have a quick look. It may not do anything to it. It's such a big piece, and it came complimentary in care of some sponge. So there's some sponge right on here, and also it came with a brittle star, and it's come with this, not sure what what this is. I might let that fall off. It's quite hard. It also has feather duster worms. It's got quite a lot of bits and pieces hanging off it. I don't know where the brittle star is. I feel like it's hiding in here somewhere because normally it's in here. It could have... I'm hoping it's sort of gone off to another part of the tank. Why this has not been happy. So now I'm just trying to evaluate which section I might go for, and I'm really nervous because it's so beautiful and it's had such a bad few days. But I do want to have a few more of these in the tank. I think I could go this longer piece straight down. I know that people just cut them straight into the tissue. So here goes nothing. Oh my gosh, I feel so bad. I feel like it's already screaming at me, telling me to leave it alone. Okay, oops, I might just neaten that up. All right, so it's still a hefty piece. I should zoom out. It's still a big piece. It's still quite large. I just want to get this into the dip. So that's the new one. I might just see if I can pop this one in this other water with a little bit of dip on it. I'll see if you can't see that. Just popping it in here in the water. I'll just get my dip onto that. Just a little bit, just because I've just cut it. I don't want any bacterial infections. It's probably a little bit of an overkill. And I'm just hoping that me doing what I'm doing, this is what people do, this is how they replicate these corals bit by bit by cutting them down. So this is now the 2 new ones plus the original. So that means I've got 4 new corals instead of just 2. So split the newbie into 2 and split the old one into 2. I could probably split it into about 6 pieces, but that's not why I got them. But I think I just need to be able to do these things from time to time, especially with the cost of coral, and that I've wanted to learn how to do this, and I don't want to experiment on these beautiful corals, but you do need to learn somewhere, and I think this is a good try and a good idea using a leather as my first experience. Super easy to cut through, and hopefully they bounce back in the coming week or 2. I would hope sooner, but obviously realistically it's not ideal to be doing this on day 1 of having a brand new coral. So anyway, time to get these guys in the tank very shortly. So I'll show you the update once they're in the tank. Okay, so I have finished, and I've popped the pieces. You can see my arm's still wet. Can never do anything in this water without getting a little bit soggy. I have popped the pieces that I have just cut and fragged. Oh, that is my 60 litre drum with salt water. That's where I pump the water from back there into the tank. So this is where I've popped the new cut, freshly done pieces. I'll just turn the camera around. So this is the current original piece that I had in the tank that I bought a little while ago, and it is connected to that piece of rockwork with some sponge on it. So I just cut that tiny little piece off the back of it. Let's see if we can spot where I cut it from. Oh, it's because it's on the other side of it. So originally it was like a hand spread out like a palm with all the hands, like a high five, but laying horizontally. So I believe that the section I cut is to the edge, just to the left, the base. The new coral that I've just purchased and brought back and then cut is this piece here. It's a lot more like a dinner plate with a nice wave through it. It's the one that has the beautiful green polyps when they're out. So this piece has been cut, and the other part of it I've just popped here. It seems to be holding in that rockwork, so if it doesn't, I'm going to have to find a very slow moving part of the tank. I did start with them down in this corner, but they're just blowing around way too much. So I've managed to wedge them in here. This obviously will be up to the coral to whether it stays there or not. It might just get nudged out with the water flow because the wave maker is right above, and it does blow. It blows directly onto the glass here and then fans out, so that wave action might be in too much for these corals, especially why they've got no bases to them. But I thought, what better base than the base that I'd like them to live on, so hopefully this is going to work. The other part of that like finger, I think it's called a devil's finger, and I apologize, there is that red yucky mucky hair algae that I keep scraping off. Now this is the other part of this large piece. So I have wedged it into the little nook here between the two rockwork, and I did end up taking off that little tiny, what looks like a baby shiitake mushroom that we all find in the shops. I have wedged it into a dead piece of coral that had a little hole through it, and that piece there hopefully in the next 2 weeks might grip on, and I could sort of move it anywhere around the tank. I'll just need to see how fluffed up they become in the coming days or weeks. So the torture session is done. I really hope that I haven't not harmed them in too many ways in one whole day, but look, I'm sure they have had worse on their transporting to and from all these aquariums. So they come from a fragged piece of coral anyway to begin with, and we all know that they usually get taken to with saws, coral cutting saws, and fast moving equipment. So it was a pretty quick snip and straight into the dip, so hopefully no bacteria builds up on these new cuts, but they are sitting on directly on that rockwork, so anything on that rockwork is obviously able to get into the coral. Moving over, I think there's enough distance between my hammers, my up to spawn, the new toadstools are all on their own rockwork, and that's probably where I'm going to plan to have the most of the toadstools, and maybe some fluffy mushrooms on that side as well. That poor little piece sitting just sadly at the bottom by itself for now. My mini Galaxia, I really hope I may have to move it, but sweeper tentacles definitely get going on this. So I have seen it with some major extension on its sweepers, but they tend to all flow under this like cave area. I could always bring it much closer to the front, so the sweeper tentacles really don't have a chance of getting those, but the way the flow of the water is, because I'm directly in line of the wave maker, and that's where the water hits the glass and shoots back. I've moved my Favia here today because I feel like I'd love to have this whole rock sort of encrusted with some Favia. It's not far from my mushroom. Mushroom's not far from the hammer. So I think they're all on quite different levels, and there's quite a bit of a gap between the different corals. So, and then I've got my sad Favia down here, which is starting to look a little bit brighter. I think it's having a comeback. And my poor Monty is obviously having a hard day, but hopefully that has a comeback too, and that's just sitting there for now. It's not long term at this stage. I've just cranked up the hang on back filter. I find that the breaking of the surface is actually quite cool for the actual fish because they have this little bit of extra flow here. But I know there's a lot of discussion on excess oxygen hitting the water and the bubbles and not using air stones, etc., etc. But when I'm out snorkeling in rock pools, and these are very heavy, strong rock pools, like very big tidal rock pools in surf type conditions, all the little fish and a lot of the crates and things down here are zooming into all these bubbles because that's where a lot of the food comes in. So with the wave action smashing against a lot of the rock work, it drags a lot of nutrients, I'm sure copepods and all sorts of, a food source. So the fish are quite curious with it, and I don't blame them because in the wild, obviously when the waves are breaking on a reef, it is creating a lot of disturbance and turbulence. A lot of bubbles are created in reefs when the tides are changing. So I don't feel like it's such a bad thing for me to have the hang on back filter. The reason for it is obviously because it's got the carbon in it, and I was trying to reduce any slime and chemical warfare that might happen in the tank while the toadstools were doing their shed. Also, I don't know how much warfare is going on between the Favia, the Galaxia, the Hammonds, the Octospawn, the Montipora, and the Chalice around the other side. It's a lot. And I am new and I am being vigilant, and I'm just trying to do my part for my own tanks. So yes, it's not a necessary thing. I have got the wave maker running at a stronger pace right now. It's not at full capacity. I might just check what level it's on at the moment, but I've only just put these little new pieces of leather in there, so I really would prefer to not have the leather having a hard time in the first few hours it goes in the tank. So I won't turn the wave maker down because then that will give me a false sense of security that the leathers are going to be staying where they are. So with it at a higher rate, at least I can know if that's where they're going to be for the next few hours, next few days. I just don't want them to run into the Galaxia. So that's probably my main reason for not putting them down in the corner in case they sort of run into the corner. If I move my Galaxia, the only reason I would move it is to get it closer to the front, and then it's got less likelihood of things bumping into it. It's only why these guys are loose that is something I have to keep in mind. So Galaxia, meanie, hasn't touched anyone yet, and I hope to keep it that way. But it has got the longest stingers I've ever seen, but I haven't seen a lot, but in my tank, like these stingers are like a good 10-15 centimeters long, like a couple of inches long, even longer. I would say they've shot out 6 inches from that base. I just haven't always recorded it because the lightings in here is often very difficult, can't always see it. But anyway, this is the tank as we speak. So I hope my next videos are a lot brighter and more fluffier and everyone's doing their thing in the tank. And I will update you once I see some progress on the new toadstools. Obviously the one in the back that I have had an issue with may not fluff up yet. So they might take their turns on going through their shed, which will be really annoying because I'd love to see them all in action at the one time. Anyway, time will tell. Thanks for watching, and I appreciate you. If you like the videos, please like, or better yet, subscribe. I am a newbie here. I'm from Melbourne, Australia. I am very passionate about my fish keeping, and become obsessed with corals. So this is my newfound love, and I'd love you to come on the journey with me. And there's going to be a lot happening in the coming weeks and months, so stay tuned. I cannot give away what is going on in my life, but it's exciting and it follows where my heart truly lies. So bear with me, hold in there, and I might, as I get more comfortable with the role that I'll be playing, I might be able to introduce you to some very, very exciting things. So anyway, thanks for holding on and watching to the end, and like and subscribe. Reef Chella, that's me. Bye. I just cut the leather corals. Now I am seeing something quite weird on them coming out. It's like this huge long thread with all these little fine like tentacles coming out. It looks like a major stinger, but it can't be on the leathers. So let me turn it around. It's flapping around and then it suctions back in. Surely that's not the wave maker. Let me see. This looks like a huge, long, fine, wispy stinger. So the camera can't pick up on it, but it is super long and it has fine little short threads with a little thing at the end. It almost looks like a long white fern, and then it ravels back down like when you've got the measuring tape out and you quickly retract it, it sort of retracts down back into the leather. So it's doing it right now, just fully retracted, now extending. I don't know what that is. Is it trying to, surely they don't sting each other, do they? Do they sting each other? I thought toadstools and leathers were all the one species, so oh boy, Google's gonna have a hard afternoon with me asking all the questions that I need to know. It does look like a sweeper tentacle, but it's got tiny like layers oh, and it's just laid over the top of that one. There it goes again, and it's gone back. Do I pull it off? It's so odd. It looks like a sweeper tentacle. It's gone and touched the other leather. It's coming out of that leather. Oops, I'm losing it. It's just come out of nowhere. It just sort of started shooting out of it. Every few minutes of this reef journey, I am learning so much. Things you never have to think of when you're looking at a fish tank when it's in someone else's place. Oh, there it goes again, it's gone. Here it comes. Oh. To try and attack this thing and pull it out, or to leave it. I don't know what damage this is doing right now. Oops. It's definitely coming out of there, but what it is, I have no idea. I better be quick because this is sweeping over my other toadstool. There is a slight variation. Maybe I've put them way too close. So I did do a bit of research on those little sweeper tentacles, and I believe it is a rare form of sweeper tentacle out of a leather. So what you were seeing was potentially it responding to being cut and fragged, and it was not happy. So it was definitely letting its neighbours know that it was out to get them. And since it's sort of healed up, I haven't noticed any of those sweeper tentacles on any of these guys. So this is one of the fragged pieces right now that you can see in very blurry vision. I don't think it was that one that was doing the sweeper tentacles. I believe it was my devil's finger version. So that may give it away with the name the devil's finger. But you can see these little polyps are all nice and limey and green. That was the brand new one, and everything's settled in quite well since that video was made.